Entertainment is best known for their work on Scarface, The World Is Yours, and Simpsons Hit and Run. But those titles couldn't possibly prepare you for their next project, Prototype. New York is in the middle of a war, and amnesiac Alex Mercer is caught in the crossfire. Armed with amazing abilities, it's up to you to decide how it all plays out. Joining us today is Radical Entertainment's Chris Ansell. Thank you so much for stopping by.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks for bringing Prototype. Now tell us a little bit about the elevator pitch of Prototype.
Prototype is an open-world action game set in 2008 in New York City. And essentially, you get to play a brutal shapeshifter called Alex Mercer. And you can consume the bodies of anybody in New York City to obtain their DNA, their memory, their appearance, and essentially use those skills to consume and become, and basically cut your way to a huge conspiracy.
So tell us a little bit about what we're seeing right now.
What you're seeing now is actually a 20% build of part of open world New York City. We're basically building New York City. We took 22,000 photographs to make sure we got this thing right. And so we're a completely open world setting. And what you're seeing here is essentially Alex using incredible skills of locomotion to actually combine AI and locomotion and movement abilities, so you can actually get around the city as fast and as smoothly and swiftly as possible, because the enemies that will come after you are absolutely lethal.
So what did we see a little bit there? We saw his arms had transformed into blades slightly, and did we also see, was that him consuming the mass of somebody else that we saw?
Correct. He has basically, the whole engine of the game is that you have these incredible shape-shifting abilities, which means that from shape-shifting you can also make your body into incredible biological weapons. So you can weaponize yourself. But also through shape-shifting, you have attack powers, defense powers, sensory powers, and you can also, of course, consume and become anybody you see in the world. So as you basically consume them, you break their mass into your body, and you can then, of course, look like them, which gives you some great disguise gameplay opportunities.
And what form is he in currently?
He right now is actually in an armored form, which actually makes him, as he consumes people, he gets more dense. So basically things like cars, vehicles, if you run through them, as opposed to like hyper parkouring over, you'll actually smash through them. So as you consume, you get stronger, and you actually gain more DNA and more abilities.
And how are you able to consume people? Do you need to get them into a private area, or can you just basically consume as many people as you can get your hands on?
The game is all about open world choice. Open world games, really, you need to have huge amounts of choice. We want players to feel completely empowered. This is a power fantasy. So if you want to actually go all out and do a mission through absolute destruction, you actually can, and you can consume in public, but that will bring forces up against you, whether it's the Black Watch forces, whether it's the military forces or the infected. Or you can actually play a way more stealthier disguise-based game and grab someone, go into a quiet corner where no one can see you, and then disguise from that point of view.
So tell me a little bit about Black Watch.
Black Watch are extremely dangerous, super secret arm of the military. They're actually way above the military and way above top secret.
Because you're kind of trashing the military a little bit right here.
Essentially, we do want the player to feel extremely powerful. So that's part of the game, is to basically kick lots of butt. And but of course, as you do that, obviously our previous game was Hulk Ultimate Destruction. So we love character action games, and we think we understand that players want to feel powerful, but you have to always have a constant level of powerful enemies coming after you.
Well, otherwise you're just hurting people for no reason.
Absolutely. There has to be a balance, and that's really important to the game design.
Are there going to be any online components to this game?
Yeah, we actually have full online co-op mode. So you and a friend can basically become two prototypes, because obviously the DNA strain could be split. And so it's really cool, because essentially
once you get the science in there, really you can make whatever you want happen.
We can go pretty crazy with that stuff. But online co-op is something I think no one has ever seen before, to the kind of the level of explosive action we have in this game.
Who are you fighting right now, these guys?
This is basically the Hunter Brawler. Now, in this scene, Alex is actually running down the street, because these guys really are extremely dangerous, extremely lethal, and have many of your abilities.
You are charging.
So essentially what we're trying to do here is absolutely try and get away from these guys. And even if you're not, if you actually leave them, they will actually tear up the city by themselves. Like, they are extremely aggressive enemies.
Is there any way that you can attack them at all?
Absolutely. There'll be a large combat mechanic to the game.
So what are some of his other powers, other than, so we can see that he gets the armor skin, and I've seen the blades. Does he have other powers that he can sort of accumulate during the game?
Totally. I mean, it's a power fantasy, so essentially it's really important for us to go crazy with the powers. And they're divided into attack powers, defensive powers, for example, large body armor, shield arms. We have sensory powers. Sensory powers will allow you to actually see through, like if a missile hits a building, it'll cause huge dust explosions that'll persistent. So you need to be able to see through that stuff to see who's coming at you. So there'll be large sensory powers as well as the whole disguise and consume mechanic as well.
Are you a good guy or a bad guy? Is he a villain or is he a hero? This power fantasy doesn't usually go with heroes, but...
He is designed to absolutely live in the grey space between white and black. He's definitely not a superhero. If you want a game to rescue kittens out of trees, as our lead designer Eric Holmes says, this is not the game for you.
There are games where you do that, but this doesn't look like that game.
This is not that game.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for the demo, Chris. Prototype is set for release this summer, and we don't think it can come soon enough. It looks amazing.
Introducing the all-new X-Play, weeknights at 8 on G4.